Well, you guys, it's the big day. Well, it's one of the big days. We have two big days this year. Welcome to Gatorbox's 7th annual charity event for Extra Life. We're going to be raising money this weekend for Driscoll Children's Hospital in Corpus Christi, Texas. I'm your host, Draco, and coming up today, we've got 12 hours of video game speedruns and playthroughs and completion runs, and then tomorrow we have another 12 hours. In years gone by, we've we've done one long 24-hour marathon, but that is very hard to do, and it's very taxing. And somewhere around the 18-hour mark, I kind of run out of steam, and it also sucks for scheduling because so many of y'all would be like, "Hey, I really wanted to see Spyro the Dragon, but you put it on the schedule at 2:30 in the morning or something last year." So, you know, I had to fill time somehow. So by breaking the schedule apart into 2 separate days, it allows me to basically have 2 decent schedules that pretty much everybody has the same opportunity and fairness to tune into, and I get to take a break in the middle of it, and daylight savings time isn't going to fuck us this year, because in previous marathons, daylight savings time, the clock change happens during the marathon, so we have to account for that. So when we make the schedules, we have to like add the thing in the schedule that says daylight savings time, and then explain why it takes me a whole hour longer to beat one game that shouldn't take me, 3 hours to beat. It's not because it's not because I suck at games, even though I do suck at games. It's just daylight savings time is literally the worst thing ever, and we need to. It's 2019. We need to do it. No more of that. No more. I don't want to pull that clock off the wall up there. I don't want to wind that thing on the back and put it ahead an hour. I don't want to put it back an hour. Okay. Feel like let's just move it 30 minutes in one direction, and then never touch it again. I've got my fingers crossed for no mess ups. I've also been a lot more smart with the scheduling this year. Hararo actually does add like 5 minutes between every game for setup time, which is something I did not account for in previous marathons, and that's why we were always behind schedule. I've also added the opening and closing to the ends of each days of the marathon, so that the talking that I'm doing right now is not actually messing up the schedule already just from me talking to you. But since this is day 1 of the marathon, let me tell you a little bit about what's on the schedule today. We're going to be kicking things off with 100% / all exits speedrun of Pugsy for the Sega Genesis. We've also got Nano Quest, 100% run of Nano Quest coming up today. We're also going to be doing the 10-minute score attack challenge for Pac-Man Championship Edition. I didn't really get a chance to practice that, so hopefully we'll get a couple of those in there, and it'll be all right. By request, we've added Sonic the Hedgehog 3 and Knuckles back to the schedule, and I've put that on the schedule for 2 hours because I'm not very good at that game, but we'll get through it. I'm not going to be at the top of the leaderboards on that one. We're going to go to intermission at about 3 o'clock, 3:15, and when we come back from that intermission, that's when we got the MC Kids McNugget Challenge. And I know you guys love the cheeseburger challenge, and you're wondering why am I stepping it down to nuggets this year. The reason for that is because every time we do the cheeseburger challenge, we're doing an any % speed run of MC Kids. And if you're unfamiliar with speed running, you have different kinds of categories, right? Any %, 100%, and so forth. 100%, pretty obvious. That means you do everything in the game. Every level, you find every collectible, whatever it is, to get 100%. Any % just means get through it the fastest way possible. So every time we did the cheeseburger thing, that was any %. And we got to skip a pretty big chunk of the game. But because we're doing 100% MC Kids this year, we're going to be seeing a lot of stages that just never get shown in these marathons because they're not part of the route. And we're also going to the 7th secret world in McDonald Land, which I've named Ronald McDonald's Puzzle Torture Dungeon. and that's never been seen before on the marathons either. So I shifted down to McNuggets because I cannot eat that many cheeseburgers. We're bringing back the game challenges. So for every increment of $50 that we raise, total, not just if you give me $50, but for the total donations, for every increment of 50 that we raise, every multiple, I'm gonna reach in the super value pack. We're gonna draw out a game challenge. There's new ones in here this year, as well as ones that didn't make it into previous years. So hopefully we don't run out. So we did bring those back. That's every $50. So we're gonna start off with Pugsy in just a second here, but before we do that, I want to tell you guys my extra life story about why I do this marathon. The why I extra life thing is a pretty big part of these marathons. So the reason why I've selected Driscoll Children's Hospital in Corpus Christi, Texas, as the recipient of all the money that I raise during this marathon is because when my brother Reflex was very sick when he was younger, when he was a kid, we took him to Driscoll Children's Hospital for life-saving, literally, surgery. And the doctors told us in no uncertain terms that this is not going to be an easy procedure, and they had to give us the talk. But thankfully, he made it through the surgery, and he recovered just fine. And that is entirely because of the care and attention that was paid to him by the doctors and the staff at that hospital. And ever since then, I've felt it my personal obligation to repay my thanks the best way I can, and Extra Life allows me to do that. So the shirt that I'm wearing today is the official team t-shirt of the El Oso Loco monster truck, which is the one that my brother grew up to drive. 15 years after his stay at Driscoll Children's Hospital, he is an honors graduate of Texas A&M University, magna cum laude. That's better than what I got, and I'm supposed to be the genius of the family. He got, that means his GPA was over 3.5 when he graduated. So he graduated with honors from Texas A&M. He did go on to drive a monster truck like he always wanted to when he was a kid, and he's also worked on some of the most famous trucks in the world, like Maximum Destruction. He's been on the truck crew for that. And at the Monster Jam World Finals in Las Vegas a couple of years ago, they did a big parade down the strip, and he got to drive the 1980s classic Thunder Chicken in the parade. So he's living the dream, and he wouldn't be here today to do that if it weren't for the folks at Driscoll Children's Hospital. So that's why I Extra Life, and that's why I put my talents to good use. So without further ado, welcome to our 7th annual marathon. And kicking things off, we're going to head on over to our special Extra Life layout, where we have a 100% all exits run of Pugsy.